inside as head of Eagle Enterprises. Now we move on to our next news. In a major development, the United States has officially designated the Resistance Front, or TRF, as a foreign terrorist organization and a specially designed global terrorist. The terror group, a proxy of Pakistan-based LASHKAR-E-TAIBA, had claimed responsibility for the April 22nd Pahalgam massacre that killed 26 civilians. The U.S. State Department said the designation reflects the Trump administration's continued resolve to counter terrorism and bring justice to the victims of the Pahalgam attack. The move adds TRF and its allies to LASHKAR-E-TAIBA's existing terror designations under U.S. law. India welcomed the decision, calling it a timely and important step. In a statement, the government thanked Secretary of State Marco Rubio and reaffirmed its commitment to zero tolerance towards terrorism. Now we're joined by retired Major General Sanjay Maston. He's a defense and geopolitical expert joining us live from New Delhi. Thank you, Major General, for joining us today. Welcome to NewsX World. Given TRF's links to LASHKAR-E-TAIBA and its role in Pahalgam massacre, what kind of military or intelligence cooperation do you foresee between India and the U.S. going forward?
Asuma, good morning. This is a step in the right direction by the United States. With the United States, luckily I had been there in 2007 along with the Indian Army Chief, and we had meetings then. So what I would like to highlight that we have an excellent setup of joint intelligence cooperation, counterintelligence, and all these have been well laid out and tabulated. But the fact of the matter is that now the TRF has been designated as a global terrorist, as a foreign terrorist organization by the United States. It augurs well between the relationship between the two countries, and it's a good diplomatic win for India. Unlike the recent SCO meet, where you are aware that the resolution was not passed, and our Foreign Minister, Mr. Jai Shankar, had pressed on that the basic mandate of the SCO was, against extremism, terrorism, and separatism, but somehow, it was not tabled on. So the United States doing is a good message for Pakistan, a strong message for Pakistan that they shall not indulge in any kind of terrorist activity on the Indian soil and against the Indian people. And unfortunately, the mastermind obviously was the Pakistan Army, top leadership and the ISI. And they used LET, which is their known terrorist outfit. And of course, TRF is their proxy or offshoot of the LET, which was raised in 2019. So it augurs well for India, and I think it's a strict warning for Pakistan that they should not indulge in any terrorist activity in India. And I think the relationship between United States and India again is on the upward swing on all fronts, I would say. Especially even on trade, we are going to resolve it shortly. But on the military front, we are having an excellent defense cooperation. And I think intelligence sharing and counter-terrorism, these are things which have already been sorted out. And these things have taken place much better after 9/11 attacks in United States.
And Major General, how do such designations influence ground-level counter-insurgency tactics in conflict zones such as Kashmir, where proxy warfare is often difficult to trace?
Yeah, it's a very good question asked. See, Asuma, I was also posted in Afghanistan as the Indian Defense Attaché way back in 2011 and 14. And I recollect the United States and, of course, the International Security Assistance Force. Many of these terrorist organizations had been, labeled as global terrorists, especially by the UN Security Council. But on ground, nevertheless, they continue to function. So what kind of impact they will have? I think on the terrorist outfits, it may not have much of an impact. They will continue to do operations, but on the top leadership, and especially when I say leadership, here I refer to Pakistan Army Chief Asim Munir and the DG ISI. See, because they control everything. You are well aware that even when the Pahalgam attack took place, way back on 16th April, the army chief, Pakistan army chief Asim Munir had given a lecture, and in which he stated very clearly that Hindus and Muslims are separate people, separate country, and they cannot coexist together. They are separate nations, and also Kashmir is a jugular vein. So this was, the start point. See, the operation was well planned, well executed, and it was well thought of long time back. But I think this lecture, this speech of his on 16th April also set the ball rolling. So this itself shows that the perpetrators are the top leadership of the Pakistan Armed Forces and the ISI, and therefore perhaps it's a warning to them that if they resort to such future actions, then I think President Trump, knowing his personality, then he may be constrained to impose sanctions or maybe to stop selling military hardware equipment to Pakistan. That's the only kind of thing I see on ground. Otherwise, on ground, not much difference perhaps will be there on these terrorist networks. As it is, you are aware, recently LET and Jaish-e-Mohammed had
Major
threatened.
General Sanjay, we are short in time. Thank you very much for joining us today and sharing your insight. That was Major General Sanjay Meston. Well, that's all we have time for. We will continue to bring more